Okay, so I won't be able to explain biodiversity better than that video, but it's supposed to explain to you all that everything in our world is connected, and especially keystone species have a lot of weight when it comes to other species. If they were to fall through, then everything else that relies upon them would. And two of the major ecosystems that are facing biodiversity loss are rainforests and coral reefs, and just the degradation. That's happening to both of those ecosystems is alarming. So here is why you should care. So a large number of plant species means a greater variety of crops, which therefore means more food to sell, more mouths to feed with our growing population. That's definitely a priority. And that also ensures natural sustainability for all life forms if we have a greater species diversity. And that's one of the things that was mentioned in biodiversity species as a level. And healthy ecosystems can better withstand and recover from a variety of disasters and diseases. So once you're more diverse, you have a lot more adaptations to you that can sustain a lot of difficulties. So another great aspect of biodiversity is free stuff. Biodiversity offers a lot of natural services just in itself, and on top of that, it's a great form of research, education, recreation, tourism, and cultural values. Like, you know, taking your kids when you're older and you have kids to a national park is because of biodiversity. Like, those might not exist if we continue at the rate that we are continuing at. And lots of people go out of the country to visit world-renowned parks and beautiful landscapes and designs. So definitely something to want to maintain. Another reason why we should care is because it is mentioned in a multitude of theological documents, one of them being the Laudato Si. There's a whole section as under the name Climate as a Common Good, and there's more than this, but I just wanted to pull out, and I bolded the words that are important. Biodiversity is mentioned twice. Basically, he's referencing the fact that this is an issue, that there is all of these consequences are happening because of pollution and human decisions. And so here at the end, this is what I want you guys to take away most. If these present trends continue, this century may well witness extraordinary climate change and an unprecedented destruction of ecosystems with serious consequences for all of us. So yeah, every little bit that happens, you know, we don't really notice, but in these next few slides, I have some breakdowns of what used to be and what it is now, and it's sad. So then again, in a message to the world in a celebration of the World Day of Peace, Pope Benedict says that there is an ecological crisis because of climate change, deforestation, agricultural practices, pollution. There's a loss of biodiversity, deforestation. So all of the things that I'm going to talk about, he mentions, and he touches on the fact that it's really just not okay to disregard what's happening, especially with people that are being forced out of their own homes. Like, I'm talking more about habitats and animals and other species, but people are facing the uprooting of their own livelihoods and with nothing to remember them by. So what's going on? Why is it declining? These are the main problems. It's major five things: industrial impact, agriculture, climate change, habitat destruction, and pollution. So for industrial impact, the bottom line is there's just too many people with too little resources. So undisturbed areas at one point are now being transformed into agricultural or pasture land, stripped of all their wood, mined for resources to support the increased energy use because of all the humans and lifestyles that people lead. So lots of really flourishing lands are left just completely deserted and stripped. Areas with more biodiversity are actually more attractive to humans. Like, you guys would rather live somewhere pretty than, dirt. So, so the problem is that all of those really attractive biodiverse areas are just the first ones to get transformed to that dirt. So another reason why biodiversity is at risk, for sure. The next is agriculture. Agriculture has unfortunately become a part of the global exchange economy, whereas in years past, it's been kind of a quaint agreement between neighboring farmers, like, give me some of your corn, I'll give you some of my tomatoes, that kind of thing. But now it's caused significant changes in social organization, and forest land has been used for agricultural export rather than used for subsistence crops. So native plants are dying, and people are bringing in these rare tropical plants that just aren't gonna live. And it's just not really working, it's not meshing. The next is climate change. You guys have heard this so many times, but the global warming is causing plant biomass to increase, which means that there's more nitrogen taken up from the soil, and then that's sequestered into the plant bodies. So that just means all of the nitrogen is being used up in these previously planted plants for none for the growing plants to have. As for habitat destruction, when lands, especially rainforests, are converted to ranches or agricultural land or urban areas, all of those habitats are lost for forest organisms. They have nowhere to go, and therefore they're going to die. And then that means no offspring, which means an extinction of a species. So most habitats that are destroyed are those that contain the highest levels of biodiversity. Again, they're attractive. Especially lowland tropical wet forests, so major issue. And last but not least, pollution, one of the things that we definitely cause the most, especially in water, lakes and rivers. The pollution in those bodies of water has resulted in the death of many freshwater ecosystems, and since almost 12% of animals live in those ecosystems, that's a huge issue. And then what's worse is that in developing countries, almost 90% of their wastewater is just directly discharged into waterways. So